Change actually causes the brain to think it's in pain.
Hi, I'm Carol Podell, and this is She Takes the Lead.
Hi, party people. It's Carol. Today, I want to talk about something that I really like, and I've always talked about it, and I've done research around it. And it's such a fascinating topic to me because it's really all about life. It affects every area of your life, and that topic is change. You change your mind, you change your profession, you change your look, you change your outlook. Sometimes you change your friends. I mean, there's change in everything. There's an opportunity for change in everything. And most people hate it. Most people really dislike change. They're very uncomfortable with it. Scientifically, there have been studies that change actually causes the brain to think it's in pain, which I find fascinating. Because on the adverse side of that, once you've established a change and therefore created a habit, that is the comfort zone of the human condition, is the habit, is the repetition, is the comfort that you know what's coming up. I read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, but it's certainly true for me, that people who have anxiety tend to like to watch the same show over and over and over and over again because we know what's going to happen. And I have to say, like, I do like that. It's funny because I often kind of guess what's going to happen before it does. For example, The Sixth Sense. I actually knew, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I can't do anything about that. I knew that Bruce Willis was dead halfway through the movie. For some reason, I remember seeing him and I was like, why is he wearing the same clothes? Oh, yeah, okay, I get it. But change is really an inevitability. I had a teacher, an acting teacher, 1,000 years ago, who used to quote, I think he was quoting Stella Adler. I'm not sure if it was his initial idea or hers, but said that in nature, everything either grows, changes, or dies. Like I challenge it a little bit because I think really we either grow or die, or we're both at the same time, which I guess is affecting the change. But from a holistic, larger perspective, it's more about how to change and embracing change that I kind of want to talk about today. As I've shared, have pivoted professionally and personally a lot. So from a change perspective, I'm actually kind of comfortable with certain changes, more so than I think some other people that I know or that I've met. I actually enjoy change. I enjoy things getting mixed up. I love changing my look. I love different styles of clothes. I don't really do it as much anymore because I'm a grown-ass woman with like a job where, I can't have pink hair. But if I did, I'd have pink hair periodically, or maybe purple or blue, or, like go red or something like that. So, from that perspective, like from changing your exterior to kind of express yourself, I do enjoy that as change. And from the perspective of like projects, I really enjoy doing project to project to project in a lot of ways because it's always different. That's why I really like doing real estate and facilities and that kind of universe, because there's always something coming up that's a problem to solve, or an issue to work out, or an opportunity to be able to address something and, work collaboratively to do so. And I do think it's a strength of mine. And I kind of wanted to share some things about it. And oh, by the way, I don't like all things changing. I have a very steady home life in a lot of ways. As you know, I've lived in this building and in my apartment for many decades. So I have a great deal of things that are definitely steady, secure, consistent, etc. So it also gives me the opportunity to be able to embrace change. I don't know if that is part of why I like to embrace change, but I think embracing change when you have dreams and when you are trying to do something, I think is critical to being able to do it. And the sooner and the stronger you're willing to embrace the change, the better it is for you, I think, because then you can also see the positivity in what's happening. Because if you're just trying to create this one little change or this one little adjustment, but you don't want anything else to change, you don't want anything else to move or shift, or no, just this one thing, First of all, it's unlikely that the change will happen with the significance that you need it to happen. And also, you're missing out. Like, we miss out when we don't allow the universe to give us everything. I know that sounds very woo woo. I'm not really a woo woo person, a little bit maybe, but I really think it's true. There's a lot of opportunity in change. So I kind of just wanted to make a few points about it that are valuable when you're doing any kind of adjustment or change or growth or attempt at doing something new. Because doing something that is out of your comfort zone or doing something that you don't know yet is hard. Like, it's not just hard, getting something off the ground is hard, whether that's professional or personal, whether that's like, losing weight or doing a workout regime or changing your food and your nutritional values or writing a book, building something out of nothing. And most things that we do when we build are out of nothing. I mean, they may come out of your brain, they may come out of, you may have had help or whatever, but they're really like, you have to give yourself a pat on the back too when you're doing that, because you're building something that's very much out of nothing. Like, we all have luck and we all have opportunities and privileges, and some a lot more than others. But I do think that most people, when they've built something or built on something, it's very much like you're really like, you're bringing yourself to it, and that's a noble deed. I've said this before, but one of the things that I think is pretty critical around changing and around building something or growing something is staying open to what happens around you, that the permanency that is the change, or in your mind, the sort of like solid vision. It may be a solid vision and you may get there and you may achieve that vision and go beyond. But to get there often doesn't at all look the way you envision yourself doing it or the way you envision it going. And I think that's really important when you're making these changes, because every decision is an opportunity to learn and grow. So if you're looking at a decision to make, that is an opportunity to learn and grow. It is also an opportunity to make the wrong turn. And that's also important, to stay open so that if you've made the wrong turn, you can move back to it. So I just think that, like, when you're making changes or when you're trying to stay open to what's to come, when you've decided to, take that big, huge leap of faith into changing something that you're familiar with, it's important to not make everything so precious. To give yourself the freedom to experiment and try new things and adapt along the way. Like, making things too precious, making actions too precious, making decisions too precious, it's dangerous when you're trying to grow something, when you're trying to build something, when you're trying to move something. If you make it too precious, you get stuck because it's so precious. It's not a diamond, just a change. It's just a decision, and you can make another one. And I've done it, if I decide I want to get into private event planning and I have busted my ass to get into that world and realize it's not for me, after giving it a shot, I can make another change. I am allowed to. It doesn't always happen overnight, and sometimes it takes years to shift. If you've taken years to move towards something and you realize you've made a mistake or you need to adjust for that, it takes some time. But what else are you going to do, right? What else are you going to do? You get one life, and use it. So the other one that I think is important is fighting cynicism. I am a hardcore, born and raised New Yorker. Like, I have cynicism flowing through my veins. Cynicism is like second nature to me, because we're cynical New Yorkers. We've seen everything, we've done everything, we've heard everything. It's a crazy town, all of that. But the truth is, cynicism will kill your dreams, because if you're making fun or joking about what you're doing because, yeah, that'll work, or yeah, living the dream, you're fighting against your own energy. And I have to fight it too. Not just because the truth is that cynicism is funny. Like, I'm cynical in a kind of funny way sometimes. And I allow myself to have those moments and giggle to myself or talk to my besties about it. and laugh together. But the truth is, when I'm trying to do something big, there's no room for cynicism. There's no room for, yeah, sure, give it a shot. That'll work, because you've already defeated yourself. And why bother? And I understand, like, there's a lot of uncertainty on the planet. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world that is just makes things uncertain. They allow you to lack hope in a lot of ways. But hope is the medicine to cynicism. Hope, vision, dreams, and action will fight cynicism. It is the kryptonite against cynicism because it keeps you moving. Cynicism keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck in a past experience that you have had or seen where you were unable to see the possibilities that are ahead. So instead of seeing change as a threat, you want to see it as an opportunity. Every challenge we face is a chance to learn, to innovate, to become a better version of ourselves, to create a better version of what we're building, or to just create from nowhere. The third one is expect the unexpected. The change we're looking for isn't going to be the change that happens exactly the way we want it to be. I had a friend a long time ago who she was sober, and she was, talking about her journey and talking about how much her life had grown, and she was getting married, and the guy was lovely, and she was the loveliest person. And she worked she was in AA, and she worked her program so hard and so truthfully, as truthfully as one can. I loved what she said. She said, I'm not living my dream life. I'm living well beyond my wildest dream. And I always think about it because, we're limited to our vision. Some people have really, really magical, huge imaginations and can see, exactly where they want to be and what they want to do, and just they can envision all of it. But the truth is, when you're in it, like, your imagination sees the bigger things, and then it sees the little details, but it doesn't really see the changes and the opportunities that it turns into. I mean, and you can sort of massage an opportunity into something else. I am pretty good at that, actually. And I find it kind of fun to be able to say, like, this isn't the opportunity necessarily that I want, but I'm going to see if it will feed into this. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. You gotta be open. You've got to understand that instead of resisting the unexpected, embrace it. It may not be exactly what you think you need. It may not even be exactly what you do need. But by staying open to new possibilities, we invite serendipity into our lives. I love that movie, Serendipity. Have you seen this with John Cusack and Kate? Oh, she's so pretty too. She's a wonderful actress also, but she's just a stunning woman. Beckinsale, Kate Beckinsale. And it's basically, I love romantic comedies. Like, the worse and sappier they are, and like sweet and romantic and charming they are, the more I love them. I also love bad romantic comedies, like pretty much any romantic comedy that keys into my like high school Carol that like was not dating and had crushes on boys and couldn't literally talk to them. It's just magical. So Serendipity is this great movie where they're both at Serendipity, which is an ice cream store in New York City on the east side, where they make this famous drink called the frozen hot chocolate. And if you're in the city, it is so cool. Actually, I think I'm going to take Michaela there at some point. It's very cool. So this movie Serendipity is really fun. It's set at like the holiday. It starts at the holidays at Christmas time in New York City, which is like, and near Bloomingdale's, where they do these insane, beautiful windows. And basically, they're both at Serendipity. They're both having a frozen hot chocolate or something, and they meet. And there's kind of an attraction. They're both with other people, but there's kind of an interest there. I'm not saying to cheat, but there's an interest there. So they, sit and have dessert together. And then during the conversation, Kate Beckinsale is explaining that she lets fate decide things. she lets little signals determine life's decisions, etc. So, they're both with other people. They're both good people. So they leave, and then both of them forget something back at the restaurant. So they see each other again, which then they conclude as a sign. So John Cusack gets Kate Beckinsale's phone number, and as they're walking away, there's like some gust of wind. I mean, it's so romantic comedy-esque, but there's like a big gust of beautiful wind, and it blows the piece of paper that Kate wrote the phone number on, and she starts running away saying, no, 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 that's the sign. We're not supposed to be together. And I think then he pushes further. He just doesn't buy it. There's clearly a huge attraction. So basically she says, okay, fine, let's let fate decide it. And she writes her phone number on a $5 bill and gives it to like a guy at a kiosk, and they go along their way. And then years pass over time, and they're still thinking of each other, and they find each other through a series of wonderful, fun, and crazy scenarios. And they find each other at the Waldorf. It's a big, beautiful hotel. And they fall in love and, live happily ever after. God, I love a good romantic comedy. Anyway, that was a little bit of an excessive story to staying open, So the moral of the story, moral of this episode, the takeaways that I would say are critical to change that I practice and will actually now much more consciously practice now that I've said it out loud, is don't make your decisions so precious. Make a decision, take an action. Make a decision, take an action. You can always make another decision. You can always take another action. If you don't make any decisions, if you don't take any actions, you will definitely stay where you are. It's an inevitability. Every decision is an opportunity to learn and grow. And expect the unexpected. Adapt and fight the cynicism. By the way, the cynicism of others is such a critical thing to stay away from. People can be cynical about your dreams and block your energy. You have no place for that. You have no room for those people. I have lived a life long enough to know that the people that can't share your dreams with you don't deserve your dreams. They don't deserve you. If they can't support you, even if they don't believe it, but if they can't support your journey, then in my opinion, get rid of them, or at least keep them at a very sturdy arm's length, because you don't have any room for that nonsense. The only person that they're being cynical to is themselves. Just say thanks for sharing and walk away. Point being, cynicism is a barrier to growth, and it will keep you stuck. Don't let it in. Unless it's a little funny, and then maybe let it in for like a half a second and then kick it out.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. If you like what you heard, please hit subscribe. Also, if you want to keep in touch, go to Insta at About a Blonde or Facebook at About a Blonde Official. Also, you can sign up for my mailing list at www.aboutablonde.com. Have a great day. Mwah!